Hey, what's going on, guys? It is another episode of Zero Hour, episode 5 here, and we've got a double dose for you guys this week. We'll be getting 2 episodes this week as we are in the middle of our back-to-back events. Aries 1 is in the books, and so that means it's a recap and reaction show tonight, and a great show, man. It was not just tooting our own horn, but it was a fun night. I'm excited to recap it with you guys. We're going to go through all the winners, kind of get reactions, and look forward to what's coming up next. Of course, next is Aries 2, and that's this weekend, November 5th, from the world famous Cotton Eye Joe. And we're going to get right back to it, guys. 2 shows in 6 days. So that means for our next episode here in a few days, you will get our full preview session. So make sure you check that out. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. That's what we need you to do. Hit that subscription bell. That way you get notified every time we post material here, including the fights. We're going to be posting all the fights here. After 30 days, you can catch them here on the 0 Hour channel. So if you would give us a like, a subscribe, that is the best way you can help us out in spreading the good word. It's a great event in the books, guys. Justin, you were there, judging cage side, new cage, and a pretty hot crowd.
Yeah, man, the cage was awesome. They all delivered. It was a great night of fights. Some tough fought decisions, some quick knockouts, some quick submissions. It was a fun night.
Jeff, we were there right in the thick of things. It was a hectic couple days that just flew by, but all worth it there at the end, man. The energy was definitely something that can't help but soak that in when you work hard on a show like this and you get that kind of energy all night.
Yeah, it makes everything worth it. Lot of hours, a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears, frustration, stress on the families. Especially, but I think everybody here on this show, um, everybody here on the show stepped up, but everybody on the show's families stepped up between wives, girlfriends, kids, our sons. It was a complete team effort, and uh, once that switch turns on and it's showtime, man, and then the crowd starts reacting to what we're doing, and the corners and the fighters, you see the excitement on their face. It just makes all the hard work worth it.
No doubt. Greg Hopkins, you're there in a official capacity this time for the first time. Definitely props to you, man. You ran your ass off. You got to see how much goes into this stuff that a lot of guys really just don't understand. They show up at the fights, and there's kind of just so much work that goes in to get that there. So your take on seeing everything happen from nothing, just an idea, a concept, if you will, that we've been talking about, to actually like playing out live and in person.
Yeah, it's actually really cool that it all starts out with just word of mouth and hey, would you be interested in fighting in Chattanooga this, and then you have all these guys come together, which starts out to be absolutely nothing but talk, and then as you get the commission involved and judges, commentary, everything's all set up. There's a lot that goes into one show, and a lot more money goes into one show than I actually thought too. But this is yeah, it's a huge eye opener, and it makes me wonder how much bigger and better the shows are going to go from here. I think we did pretty good. I think we did pretty good as far as like production and everything went, and it's only going to get better from here.
Torres, the champ, my man, you're here. We're going to talk more about your fight, obviously, when we get into the recap. But from a fighter perspective, your take on the first Aries 1, now that it's in the book, overall takeaway from the event as a whole, and we'll get into your fight, of course, once we get into the recap.
Yes, from the beginning, overall, this was an incredible. Saw a lot of great things. I love the production. I went back and watched the pay-per-view myself, and man, I'm talking about, man, that's top of the line right there. Love the commentary, love the production. I mean, there was a lot of really good fights, man. A lot of people came in, and that was a really good crowd for a first ever show, coming in, setting the tone. Heck, I mean, look, Aries isn't the only promotion in the world. We know what they're competing with people, and man, for the type of people that we had come to that show, because I did just previously go to a promotion show and didn't have nothing we had on Saturday night. So that was really fun to be a part of and fun to have. And man, I can't wait to see the future of this promotion and a lot of shows they got upcoming.
Let's dive into it, guys. A quick first segment here, and then we're going to do a little housekeeping and it help shorten up our next show by knocking this out of the way. I'm sure some of us would rather us get it out of the way quicker than others. That is the UFC 267 recap. Each guy, of course, has been giving their locks for the card coming in, and we've been keeping a little tally here. Of course, I'll go first here myself. I had the main event inside the distance minus 200. Got a win there. Not the way I necessarily thought it would happen. I kind of thought that would be Jan Blachowicz knocking out Glover Teixeira inside the distance. Instead, he gets submitted, himself. And so it is still inside the distance. I still pick up half a unit. And I moved to 3-0 and am now up 1.33 units since we've begun to keep score. Justin had Corey Sandhagen taking a shot at him at plus 200. It wasn't to be, though, Justin. He wasn't able to get it done. Put up a good fight. Now, Justin, at now plus 0.13 units. Justin, your take on this co-main event? Were you still happy taking Sandhagen as close as he made it, getting those kind of odds?
Yeah, man, I was actually, I was pretty confident going into that. I thought that Sandhagen's versatility and movement was just going to be too much, but Peter Yan's defense is top notch. His output's not tremendous, but his accuracy is top notch. So he fought a great fight. Corey made it fun, but Jan's definitely was the better man.
Torres Finney had Khamzat Chimaev by TKO. And he called the winner right, but he didn't get the method right. He wins by submission. Torres drops the unit now down 0.34 of a unit. Easy makeup there. He's 1-1. Torres, Khamzat, man, he's a wrecking ball, man. He goes in there and he can get it done many different ways. Oh, do we? I don't know.
Man, I'm a big fan of Hosmat. There we go. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hosmat, man. He's one of my favorite fighters that's upcoming in the UFC currently. Seeing him, how he's been growing lately, I love his ground game. I mean, he just go in there and just absolutely smash you. He's only taken like 2 hits out of 4 UFC fights. I mean, to me, that's incredible. And I currently think right now Hosmat is on that path to I think he's easily top 10 in my opinion. I think he can already beat some of the guys in the top 10, some of the guys in the top 5 as well. So he's going to be contending for that title in the near future. I can tell you by the end of next year, he's going to be competing for that title.
I wouldn't be surprised about that a bit. Greg Hopkins here, our leader coming in, and he goes out on the limb, takes a parlay at plus 155. Greg, break down that parlay for us. You got the win. Now you're up 3.15 units, running away from us a little bit. You had a couple props parlayed together.
I just knew that whose chin was going to hold up right there in that first fight coming up for the first leg of the parlay. So if I knew if he wasn't going to get knocked out, I still thought he'd lose, but I knew if he wouldn't get knocked out, he'd make it past that first 1.5. And then Chimaev is just unreal. I mean, we talked about him. Yeah, we just went over it. But the thing that stood out the most to me on that fight was whenever he picked up Ling and looked over at Dana White. And what did he say? He said, I saw Dana White. He was sitting there reaching in his phone for his or reaching in his pocket for his phone. And I picked up and said, "You watch me fight." That was just awesome. I love that right there. And yeah, but it was dope to hit that parlay. Hope we can hit another one this weekend.
Absolutely. And then bringing up the rear here, it's becoming a bit of a trend. Maybe you just get on the fade train here and you'll be making a lot of money. Jeff Hobbs had the co-main event, Jan and Sandhagen, to finish inside the distance. Didn't happen, man. We got all 5 rounds. Jeff Hobbs now 0-3, down 3 units. Jeff, what say ye for yourself?
I still feel good about the pick. I don't know. Fuck, what do you want me to say? I fucking lost again. I don't know. I thought for sure those guys come out fucking banging, man. I mean, they throw heat every time they throw a punch. I felt confident somebody was getting caught on that sweet spot on the chin, and we weren't going to see a decision. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm disappointed.
Well, stay tuned for our next episode coming up midweek. As we have UFC 268 right around the corner. That's going down Saturday night. Two pay-per-views in a row, so you can check back in for our lock of the week midweek on the next episode. We got Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington in that one, so that should be a fun one to break down. Let's get on to the breakdown, guys. We've got Aries 1 in the books. We're gonna go through all the fights, all the results. Get some reactions here. Had some upsets. There were some odds. The odds ended up coming out on BetMGM, which I thought was fucking great. That's awesome. I was seeing something like that was made my day when I saw that. Because I haven't seen any other regional promotions in this area getting odds on BetMGM. That's pretty awesome. Greg, we talked about it before the odds ever came out. They ended up lining David Robbins at -400, and then Logan Neal at -140. Did those? We're not really going to get into those fights until we get to the recap. But did those odds surprise you? Were they about what you thought they were going to be?
They spot on. I thought they were good. I thought they were good. I agreed with them all the way. I was looking to throw a bunch on the David right there and Logan there at the end. So I was excited to see him on MGM. That was freaking phenomenal, especially being our very first fight event. They didn't. MGM didn't even give us a test run to know anything. They just really put a lot of faith in putting our our promotion up there and trusting us. So I was blown away by seeing that because we kept looking on Action 24/7 all day and they weren't coming on, and then boom. I was excited for that, but I can't wait to see them on every damn book now.
No doubt. Hopefully, we see more and more of that. Let's get into it, guys. First fight of the night. It was juniors kickboxing, and I love to start the show with the kids because they're going to put on a fight. We ended up losing a fight. We lost the Lucas Cox Skylar Cobb fight. Skylar Cobb bailed a couple days before the show, so unfortunately Lucas wasn't able to compete. Hopefully, we get him on a card like real soon. Maybe like we've got a potential fight for him this weekend. Actually, on Aries 2, we'll see if that comes to fruition. But that kind of shortened our prelims up a little bit, and we were approached by the coaches for both of these young men, and they asked for us to go 5 rounds. And we're like, sure, both guys want to go 5 rounds, let's do it. And so we got a 5-round fight to kick off the night. As it was Case Rice from Diamond Muay Thai getting a unanimous decision win, 50-45 across the board against Noah Maget. But a well-fought battle by both of these young men. I mean, these guys are, 12 years old, 11 years old, just really put on a nice technical showing, went all 5 rounds, and really had the crowd warmed up for the rest of the night. Justin, you saw it like all the other judges saw it, but 50-45, all 5 rounds for Mr. Rice. But Maget still was very competitive in all those rounds.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Both those kids came and brought it. They were going for it the entire time, and like you said, it was all 5 rounds went to Rice, but McGay was in there the whole time. Throwing back, throwing head kicks, and those guys showed a lot of talent. Especially like you said, for being 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, and being in there in front of all those people. It was a great showing. Damn good way to kick off the night.
No doubt. And, as young as these guys are, man, if they stick with it till they're 18, they're going to be absolute killers. I hope they do. Let's see, moving on next with Spencer Kishner defeating Nathan Akers by round 1 TKO. Nathan Akers steps in for Mikey Jutz after Mikey Jutz bails. Also midweek, the prelims were in shambles midweek, but Greg, you're able to save the day on that one. You're able to find Nathan Akers, who was really Nathan Akers that saved the day, who stepped up on very short notice and actually had a pretty nice accounting for himself early in the round in the striking exchanges. Kind of break this fight down for us how it went. Akers kind of competitive there early. Then he had a moment where he kind of turned his back and Spencer was all over him and he capitalized on that opening. But talk about this one, Greg.
Yeah, Nathan Akers, first off and foremost, shout out to him for stepping up and stepping in on just a moment's notice. And he when we told him, this is you're fighting a guy that's been getting ready for a fight for a couple of months now, and he just said, "Isn't that what a fight is? You're supposed to go out there and fight." So, loved it. I love that. I love the fact that when Nathan stepped in there, you could see the size differential right there and the height's different. And everybody's like, "What is this Akers kid? He's a tree, and he's making 145 right now." I think that if Nathan had some training, he could probably step in the cage at 135 and maybe uh, you know, make a run at somewhat of an amateur race there if he decided to dedicate himself. With that being said, Spencer Kistner fighting up to 145 as natural 125 should make his way down at some point in time. Will be a force in that 125 run, and I can't wait to see where he goes from here. And when we do get him down to a 125 slot, and we can get him rolling there, but fantastic fight though. Whenever Nathan started doing his ducking and diving, he literally looked like a tree blowing in the wind and trying to. But like you said, when he did that one turn, he kind of looked at the crowd and tried to sneak Spencer. I think that's when things went downhill because he got tired, and he even said, I've never got so tired before in my life, like so fast." He said the adrenaline, the walk itself to the cage was just, it took a lot out of him. He said, "But dude, thank you for the experience. Please let me come back." So like, and Spencer's saying the same thing. Of course, he's going to be there at every event this year. So I'm excited to see the start of both of their careers, and especially right here at Aries.
Yeah, man, I would like to see Akers with a full, 6 weeks notice to prepare for a fight at 135.
He was wanting to throw knees and elbows a lot. I was like, well, so you'll have to stay in it for a little while. But I mean, because you tell because he's so tall, he was like, I could just knee up here, and I mean, it was just awesome.
Moving on, the final prelim, it was Anton Brown taking out Jonathan Flores in light heavyweight action. Round one, rear naked choke. Anton Brown from American Top Team Atlanta. Been a while since we've had those guys up. And, man, he's a big dude, big tall guy at 205. Was outweighed by his opponent, actually, in this one, but making pretty short work. He actually got like a standing sleeper hold. That was like Brutus the Barber beefcake style there. Torres, I always like to go to you when we're talking about guys near your weight class. Nice win for Anton Brown. We can always use fresh blood in that 205 division too,
Yeah, I agree with you, Tim, big time. Antoine looked phenomenal, man. You saw the little, first ever fight. You saw the feels, you saw the adrenaline, throwing random kicks. But those guys was enjoying themselves, man. When you get to that moment, you never know what you'll do in your first ever fight. And man, Antoine looked good, man. It was funny. Antoine came to the back talking. He was talking about he wanted to see me fight, but Zane's something else, man. They was already chapping it up, man. About
Zane, yeah, I know Zane's already probably got his eyes on him.
Yeah, man. So you already know how that goes. But Antoine overall, man, Antoine looked really good. He's really nice size. He said he weighed in only 201, 20,
Yeah.
Right. So he said that's a potential drop for him, maybe eventually 185. So he looked really good. He said he dropped some weight all the way down from 240. He just used to be a power lifter, but now trained up there with ATT with all those boys in Atlanta. He's going to be a force to reckon with in that 205 division. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. There's a lot of guys that are right there as the 205 division is growing. So he's one of those guys you can throw in the mix.
And as we start making these rankings after these fights, we start getting some data. These guys are, we're going to be able to start a pecking order, towards the top. I'm excited for it. Moving on into our undercard, man, business really started to pick up in this section, guys. It was Antoine Jennings, the teammate of Anton Brown down at American Top Team, also making his debut, knocks out Frank Gallardo in the first round. But this was a very action-packed fight. Gallardo, man, stood in the breach there, and in those initial exchanges, he got dropped, got put in a very bad position, but was able to fight out of that bad position. I thought he was probably done, honestly, at that point. But he made his way back up to his feet, and I'm like, shit, man, this guy's tough as fuck. But then he got back into the breach, if you will, and he got dropped again. Big knockout win for Antoine Jennings. Who was a character, man. I liked old Antoine Jennings. He was a gentleman, was very, very gracious. And I'd love to have both these guys back. But Gallardo, also very exciting. Great look from Gallardo. Nice fan base there as well. And, it was a performance bonus kind of win there for Antoine Jennings, Jeff.
Yeah, KO of the night, winner of the night. And, like you said, these two knew no direction other than forward the whole fight. you know, the fights up to this point were good. This was our first like just high octane, high action, forward, swinging for the fences. Let's see who drops first type of fight. I agree with you. There was a couple times I thought, you know, we might be close to a stoppage because Gallardo would get clipped and drop, and thank goodness the referee didn't overreact and jump in and stop it because there was just more action there. But eventually, you know, you're going to stand in the pocket like that and trade. That usually means one good solid punch is what's going to end it. It's going to catch you on the chin, and that's what happened. And we kind of had that face first, you know, cheek on the mat type knockout. And so it was good to see Frank get up and you know, not show any ill effects from the knockout, but it was an impressive KO. And you know, Frank still has a very impressive mullet. It's beautiful. So there's a future ahead. You know, in the mullet game, there was a lot of mullets too in the crowd. If you notice, there was a lot of good mullets in the crowd. But Frank was rocking the best one, and look forward to having both these guys back again.
Up next, man, the fire kept coming. We had two. This is the most memorable fight of the night to me. Savon Canto, Tristan Kelly. Another 145 fight. The easy matchmaking right here puts the winners against each other, and you know that's fire. Savon Canto and Tristan Kelly go to war for 3 rounds. It is an absolute roller coaster. Both guys in terrible spots at various times. I thought that Tristan Kelly was out on his feet at one point. I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd stepped in and stopped it, even though he got dropped a couple times. And then in the 3rd round, Savon Canto is in such a deep bulldog choke, he's drooling. It is absolutely deep as fuck. I thought it was over so many times, and it was never over. Both these guys went the distance, showed so much art. Savon Canto got the unanimous decision win, but shit, man, this was nothing to hang your head over for Tristan Kelly. This, even in a loss, this was a win for him and his stock. Savon Canto, the only representative getting to fight for a nice guy. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, dude, the easy matchmaking, Savon Canto, Antoine Jennings, how good's that? Greg, your thoughts on this one? Fight of the night, another performance bonus winning.
Back to back.
I mean, I guess in hindsight, when I rewatched the fight, the judges picked the clear winner there. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I thought that they could have went either way, the way that fight happened, because when they had that bulldog choke on Antoine, like, and he was drooling, there was blood in the drool too, and it was just, I mean, Jesus, like, I mean, I was like, you know, that was the one fight of the night where I gave props to Jimmy Neely for not stopping it. And I was like, that was fantastic, you know. That was the kind of that's the kind of fight that makes it move a little bit, you know. So I get a little excited when I see those kinds of fights. I got to stand up a step away from the table and kind of and sweat it for both guys, but then cheer for both guys too, because dude, both of them left it all out there. And you mentioned you had him standing, he was like out on his feet like a zombie at one point in time, and he was. And you know, everybody has him flash knockouts, and he came right back. And just oh God, that was a killer fight. It deserved every bit of fight of the night. Both of those guys deserved a little extra, and I'm glad they both got it. I can't wait to see. We have the easy matchmaking now. Who wants to fight Tristan Kelly now? You know, I mean, who wants to fight him? So I mean, because that ain't no easy out for you. You're gonna have to fight his ass. So, what is Tristan now? Is he 2 and what is he 2 and 3?
He's 2 and 3 now, and a very, very tough 2 and 3. I think of people like Dustin Garrett, Trip Hallman, some guys like that. They're about to fight here this weekend.
Dustin Garrett's the fight right there. After this fight this weekend, I think win or lose, Dustin Garrett's the fight, because both of those guys are good wrestlers, and that would be a hell of a grind right there.
I was also going to say,
Torres, go ahead.
I was also going to say, from watching that fight, a lot of people, some people in the back was like really interested on that decision. To me, when I went back and watched the fight, I thought Tristan, that first round, to me, what's the other guy's name? I'm so sorry.
Savon Canto.
Savon won the second round. Third round I felt like Tristan won the third round, but it depended on who won the first round.
Right.
That first round was really close. And
Yeah, but one judge gave a 30-27 in that fight, and I just did not see that at all. I hope that was not Justin up
I
here.
don't know about 30-27.
I don't see how in any realm you would give the third round to Kanto. Second round was definitely Kanto. First round was very, very close.
Yeah,
I thought that it could have gone either way. No, I'm the third round was definitely Tristan Kelly. There's no doubt about it. The second round was Savon Canto. It's how you saw the first round. And honestly, I was kind of just, for argument's sake, calling it 1-1 going to the third, but I'm not 100% set that it was. I was just, for dramatics, essentially. Justin, you're one of the judges there. Your take on this one. We'll expound a little bit.
Yeah, the first round was super close. I had it for Savon Canto, but it was very close. And then, like you guys said, second and third round were very easy to score. Somebody did give Savon the third round. I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but I thought it was, like you guys have all said already, it was a clear second and third round. The first one was close, but I thought Savon edged out. He had a little bit stronger strikes, I think, and he had Tristan rocked in that first round.
Moving on, we had Corey Farmer, Cameron Oliver. At this point, things are starting. The ball starts to pick up momentum, because when you have fights like this, it kind of like bleeds over to the next fights. The guys in the back are like feeling that. And so this is another one. These guys come out and they start fucking throwing right in the middle of the cage. Corey Farmer drops Cameron Oliver. And I think around at that point, something happened to Cameron Oliver's knee. It popped out, or there was something that happened there. He was able to recover. Corey Farmer at that point starts the assault on the ground. Cameron's able to kind of stave off the damage. We get very late in the round. I think the fight was stopped at 12. About 12 seconds to go. Jimmy Neely stops the fight by TKO. To me, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of damage being done at that point. With 12 seconds to go in the fight and not a whole lot of shots getting through. And as soon as Jimmy stopped the fight, he had sprang up to his feet. So it wasn't like he was really too hurt at that point. However, I mean, it's definitely the round that was Corey Farmer's round, and he looked like he was on his way to victory, but maybe a slightly premature stoppage. All the same, hopefully Cameron's knee is okay. And props to Corey Farmer. He stays undefeated. He had a bit of a rowdy group over there with him too, and it looks like he'll be aiming to get back in there in January. So with there's a lot of interesting fights for Corey Farmer at 185, I think, out there as well. Let's go to Torres on this one. Cameron, your teammate, and I always like to go to you on these fights that are near your weight class.
Yeah, big time, man. Cameron coming in as a debut, man. We knew it was going to be a little tough fight for him. Corey, we knew of his wrestling background. So we knew that was going to be a potential test within the fight. But Corey came out throwing hands, man. And, that's one thing about certain wrestlers. I think they get a little bit too confident in their wrestling. They're confident to go out there and throw hands because they feel like, hey, I can take the fight wherever I want. And I felt like Corey felt like that going into the fight against Cameron. And, bad look by Cam, hurt his knee when he got dropped on that initial right hand. But I thought the stoppage was a bit early. I did. But, I mean, you still got to defend yourself. It looked like Cameron wasn't out. Cameron was still moving, but he was taking a lot of shots that, just to the point, you got to do something. So I can understand the ref viewing point. But all props to Corey Foreman, man. He looked good. He looked clean in there. A lot better improvement from what we watched film on for Cameron, because I think I can't get his name now. But he fought 2 years ago, right?
He fought the guy. His guy. Oh shit! The guy from KMAA. He was a tall dude. Man, you put me on the spot.
Starts with a D. Starts with a D.
But
Dylan,
he fought him too.
Dylan Smith.
No.
Darren Hayes, not Darren.
No.
It wasn't Darren either, man. It was. Oh man, I thought it starts with a G actually. But the guy came in. I recall that fight because that guy he gassed real bad late in the fight, and that's when Corey kind of took over, if I can recall.
Corey took over, yeah. So you saw the improvement. We watched that fight, and I saw the improvement from Corey. So he's going to be a guy that you got to be beware of in that 185 division, big time. So that was good to see. Cam will be back. Cam going to keep him training. A lot of these guys, a lot of these debuts, man, have been training and wanted to see that, their first test get inside that cage. We ain't not throwing them in there if they're not ready. The jiu-jitsu was on point for Cam. He was defending a lot of those chokes early. He just had to do better about certain positioning. But I'm ready to see Cam in there. He's gonna keep training, get back in the gym, and he'll be back. And the same with Farmer, man. Corey Farmer, he's going to be back in January. Y'all better beware. He's going to be coming for that 185 belt.
Gabriel Atkinson.
Yep,
It
was
the name. All right, guys. Moving on to our next one here. It looks like we had another performance bonus winner here. Daniel Gonzalez from High Stand gets the armbar in the first round over Noah Madrid. Noah Madrid came in a little heavy on this, I should note. Man, he busted up Daniel Gonzalez's nose early. A lot of blood in there. It wasn't Noah Madrid's blood. But though Daniel Gonzalez and those high stand guys are so tricky, they're always fishing for the sub, and Daniel Gonzalez hits that armbar there late in the first round and spoils the debut for Noah Madrid. Picks up a performance bonus at the same time. Jeff, your thoughts on this one? This is a fun little fight.
It was fun. It was unexpected. Madrid is a very unassuming type guy. You definitely don't look at him. Torres walks in a room, you go, well, that dude plays football. He may, he may be a fighter. Noah walks in, and you're thinking, that dude works at Best Buy,
right.
Kind of guy. But sneaky, man. Like, I still don't. I watched the fight again today. I still don't even know where the blood came from. I didn't see the shot really, but they got in close and then they kind of separated, and we were like, well, shit, somebody's bleeding. Whose is that? And then you look at Noah Madrid's face and you don't see anything, but you already see puffiness around the eye, blood coming from the nose of Gonzalez. It was just kind of like, where the hell did that come from? And next thing you know, Gonzalez is kind of on the defense and backpedaling, and all of a sudden just getting a little more cautious when he was coming out, guns a-blazing. So, props to Noah Madrid, because that dude is a lot tougher than what you would think just judging a book by its cover, and showed a lot of potential. And, just another one of those guys that you think, man, with, a couple more years of training under his belt, this guy could be, pretty good little fighter. And, it was a war. Again, we hit this stretch between, Jennings, Brown, Canto, Farmer. I mean, all this right here, this meat and potatoes right in the middle was just back to back to back.
Yeah.
Exciting fights. And Gonzalez had a great, post-fight interview. He loves his mama, and I love it when they love their mama. Again, it was just another fight in a row that delivered.
Rounding out this middle portion of the card, it was a decision for Quentin Milton. Unanimous decision win over Casey Daniel. A lot of people didn't like this one. It seems like out in social media land, but it was Quentin Milton. I had it 1-1 probably going into that third round. I thought Daniel had a nice position early in the round. And I called it. I told Greg, I said, if he doesn't pull him out from the cage, he's about to try to explode off the cage here in about 3, 2, 1. And that's when it happened. And from then that last half of the round, it was Milton that was kind of on top. And then he kind of finished the round like standing over him. So, I think the decision was right. There was some people that were upset about Milton having his toes kind of grabbing into the cage. And I did notice that a couple times. I don't know for sure that was the reason that he lost the fight, but I did notice that a couple times. We'll go to you, Justin. You were one of the judges on this one. You guys all three saw it the same way.
Yeah, man, this was a hell of a fight. If I remember correctly, I think I had Daniel in the first round, Milton in the second, and then Daniel was winning the majority of the first half of the third round. And then, like you said, Milton reversed position and just did some more work on top than Daniel did when he was on top, and edged out the decision there. But both these guys came to fight. Both of them were throwing big shots. The scrambles were good. It was definitely a fun fight. Quentin Milton 4-0. It was Casey Daniels' second fight, and
yeah.
To go out there and put on a performance like that is definitely nothing to hang your head about. It was a damn close fight. Could have went either way for sure.
Yeah, props to Casey for taking on a pretty tough motherfucker in his second fight. Milton's pretty solid. Before we go on, Torres, any thoughts on this one? There, you got to see it on the. I haven't actually got to watch that one back on the broadcast. I look forward to it, but after watching it on the broadcast, how'd you have it?
I watched it as well. I mean, correctly so. Milton won the fight. One of the judges scored it, I believe, 30-27.
I don't like that.
That's the only nick I have against it. Now, yes, Milton still won the fight. I'm not denying that. That little ground and pound he had at the end of the third, that looked like it could have been a potential, getting ready to be a potential finish. Casey wasn't going to be out, but it just the ground and pound, the militia, it was looking good. So he was going towards that finish. And Milton just changed around at the end of the third, man. And that's big. It helped him out because the round was already close. It was a really good fight back and forth, man. A lot of good exchanges, a lot of really good on the feet between both guys. But I do believe Milton won. I just didn't think it was,
a whitewash.
Yeah, right. Like that.
3-0. Yeah.
More of that. Yeah.
Well, see, I got to say here that this is a fight that will help Casey in the long run, I think. Just getting that was a lot of cage time he got in there, got through some adversity. As for Milton, man, I can't, with us kind of starting fresh here, I've got to think that he is kind of elevating towards the top of the rankings here, Jeff. What do you think if we're going to put a 45 title out there right now? He's got to be in the talks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how you deny him at this point with that record. As far as what I got to say about this fight is more. Again, you touched on it. A lot of the fans weren't happy, and being on the admin side of our Facebook page and getting some of the messages that I received or that we received as a company from the passionate Casey Daniel fans. I just think it's important as many times because we don't get a chance to talk to fans a lot that maybe just aren't as educated on, how this stuff works. How would you all give a win to that man with, the way he grabbed the cage with his toes, and trying to explain to them, we don't give wins to anybody. We don't give wins to athletes. They earn them. They win the fights. We don't have the authority or the jurisdiction to overturn decisions, to argue decisions, whether that be from a referee or a judge. Those officials they're hired by, they're governed by the state of Tennessee or GAMA, the amateur sanctioning body. That's who they're working for that night. And we can disagree with the decision all we want or missed calls. There is not a single thing we can do about that. Sometimes we're just as passionate as you guys are, you fans are, and there's still nothing we can do about it if we don't agree with the decision. So, just to the fans that might be watching this and listening and still upset about the Casey Daniel outcome, it's out of our control. We have no jurisdiction to step into that. We can give our opinions, but that's about it.
True story. Moving on to the main card. This is one we were looking forward to. We talked to both these guys on the 0 hour here. Bantamweights, Brendan Johnson versus Brevin Sullivan. The ever outspoken Brevin Sullivan gets a round 2 triangle of all things. We've been talking about the striking, but Brendan Johnson was forcing takedowns, and honestly, Brevin was constantly attacking subs the entire time that he was on his back, and ends up getting that round 2 triangle and the final performance bonus as well. Moves to 2-0. And we're talking about him in Q2 in Nashville. Hopefully that pans out. I think that'll be a great fight. And I've got to say, Brevin Sullivan in a fledgling bantamweight division is elevating himself towards the top of the rankings early. We'll go to you, Greg, on this one.
Yes. Caught me off guard with the little reverse triangle he had there on Brennan, and because he did say that. I mean, I don't know if I'll quote it, but he did say, watch what I do. I'll turn this striker, so say, in a wrestler in in less than a minute. He'll be shooting before, he let us know. And that big, huge motherfucker speech he gave after he was done And that was really, I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I talked to Brivin right before he gave that speech, and he told me he was going to make me eat crow after this fight because he said I made him sound like a lazy fighter because I keep saying he takes his opponents too lightly. And he told me when he got this finish, he was going to lay into my ass. And I was like, I don't even like the thought of somebody laying into my ass. I hope he really doesn't. So, like, I jumped up here on the catwalk and told him, hey, man, go ahead. I'll eat all the crow you want. Just kind of keep it a little bit more respectful, just for the sake of the kids, And he just goes, just give me the respect I deserve from here on out on media, and don't imply I'm a lazy fighter or that I'm taking my opponents too lightly, because you see me in here every day working, Craig, and every time you walk in here, you see me. So he goes, please don't do that no fucking more. That's what he said. So, all that put some fucking respect on my name. That was directly towards me, guys, not any of you. Okay, that was directly towards me. So, yeah, congratulations to Brivin. He deserved that performance of the night. And yeah, if we were talking about rankings right now, like that boy's the contender for the title right now. And I don't know. If you're going to stop him, step up and send us a message and let's fight. Get him in there. Brivin, that at Q2 down there in Nashville. I mean, he'll go up there with 2-0 now, and let's see it, man. I hope it does pan out and everybody stays healthy enough through the holidays and we can get this thing going.
Me too. I think that Q2 will give him that striking battle that he wants, and I really don't see either guy shooting takedowns in that one. All right, moving on here. We've got Zane Burton defeating Robbie Burns, round 1 TKO. Zane is just, so much charisma and still a lot of skill, a lot of power, heavy ground and pound, man. He hit some heavy shots on Robbie Burns' head where we got this new canvas and this new mat, and there's just like no give. And there's a couple where you're just like, oh, shit. But yeah, Zane Burton, man, now 2-0 at 205. He's wanting that strap. He's already in there calling for that strap. Jeff, Zane's a guy that brings a good crowd, and it's kind of hard to deny the results at this point. He's been nothing but victorious in the cage. He wanted that TKO bonus. He said it was brutal, and it was brutal. But,
it was brutal.
We held out on him. So he's going to be aiming for the next one. But at 205, there's definitely some interesting matchups, I think I had to say, at the top of the division for Zane Burton.
Yeah, we did our performance of the night prematurely by complete. It was not by design. It was complete mistake. Brivin had claim to his, and that's why we awarded him an additional one. But as much as I like my man, you can't beat that just straight KO from earlier in the night. The TKO doesn't beat the KO, but man, I'm telling you, I love this Zane Burton dude, man. How do you not like this guy? He so charismatic, friendly to everybody, treats everybody in the company the same. Is just so accommodating. He wants to do everything. He wants to fight, and then the fight's over. He's asking, can he match make? Then he's asking, how do I start my own promotion? Then he wants to, come next week and I want to be the ring girl wrangler in Knoxville. I mean, he wants to do everything, and he's about his money. How much will I make if I do this? How much will I make if I do that? What if I sell one more ticket? We cut tickets off, and the dude is still Venmoing me money after we've cut tickets off. And it's like, what is that money for? Oh, I need 2 more. I already paid you, because he knows once I've got the money, I'm not going to turn them down. So, hell on fight day, I owe the guy 4 tickets because he just kept sending me money for more tickets because he's out hustling. But again, this is a division that we could find a lot of good fights for this guy, man. A lot of fun, good fights for this guy, and he's got so much potential, so much, and I can't wait to see, man. He's just an all-around good dude, man. And I think we deal mostly with a lot of good dudes that we bring in and allow to be around us, but this dude is at the top of the list as just one of the genuinely kind of like good human being guys.
And also, of course, Robbie Burns drops to 1-2. Still has got the physical tools, I feel like, Robbie Burns, to to give guys a lot of problems. He's just got to kind of harness that kind of raw talent he has, and be able to get in there, fight with the game plan, and he's a young buck. I'm sure he will definitely improve.
Did anybody else notice though the size that Burns had put on? Did anybody else kind of feel that
huge.
way?
Yeah, I thought he
felt
looked big.
A lot skinnier the last time we saw him, and he looked like he had really maybe hit the weights a little bit and put on some mass. So if he really builds in that body, he's got that Colin Robbins type build.
Mm-hmm.
If he can thicken it up and keep working out like he does.
Moving on to our amateur main event, featuring our own Torres Finney, and he picks up the first ever Aries title, middleweight champion now, with a big performance over Andre Johnson. There he is, right there with the strap, with the hardware, arm triangle. After a huge slam, we talked about, honestly, as we were putting the cage up, we're like, man, what's it going to feel like to get slammed on this thing by Torres? Like, that's going to fucking suck. And it looked like it really did. The submission comes by arm triangle, a late stoppage there as Mr. Johnson had already passed out. And a little bit of a scary moment afterward. I was telling people, I was like, man, I was happy for Torres. I was super happy that he won and he's going pro and all this, but I couldn't help but just kind of feel that heaviness kind of lingering over things there, given the circumstances. Not to overshadow your win at all, Torres. Congratulations, brother. You're going pro. Much deserved. Impressive performance. Talk about this fight.
Yes. Yeah, Tim. Going into the fight, I felt really confident anywhere the fight was going to go. I was waiting on Andre Johnson. I know I've watched every fight. I know he's only had 2 fights, but he explodes early. So the game plan going in was to be more like a professional. Let's be patient. Let's him move around a little bit. Let's not explode too early, And Andre actually came out there calm. He started off with some leg kicks, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then, I'm not just going to sit there and take 4 leg kicks in a row. So they was becoming telegraphed. So I went for the takedown. And once I got the takedown, it was a transition. I work all the time in jiu-jitsu. I work it all the time in training. And it's that from the back to the head and arm. And one of my favorites. And I locked it in. And it's funny because he's not one of the first guys I put to sleep with that. I put a few guys to sleep with it. They really go out really quick once I get it locked in and right underneath the chin. He was snoring a little bit like 5 seconds into the choke. He was initially getting ready to tap, but I think he passed out in the process of tapping. But I felt like the referee. Most referees, don't they pick up the arm to like see? Yeah, he didn't even do that. He waited till his body got stiff. And knowing me, I heard him snoring, and I even looked at Sterling, and I'm like, is he out? Sterling's like, I think he's out. And I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, ooh. And you don't want to let go, and then you let go, and the guy takes your back from getting it. So you don't want to make those type of mistakes. And like Coach was saying, like Larry was saying, it's not up to me. It's up to the referee to make that decision. You just got to go in there and fight. You got to fight as if your life was on the line, because if you was in that same position, I'm pretty sure he's not letting go either. So I was hearing him snore, but I was waiting for the referee to like get me off, or was expecting a tap. But I did not have no intentions to be holding him in that long. But I did feel like if I was going to be here, I was going to get the finish here once I locked that in. But Andre's going to be a tough cookie, man. He just got to keep training, get with a really good gym. I know he's down there with TK Money Gang in New York. So he keeps training with those guys, keep working on those skills, man. He can be a threat for real.
Greg, your thoughts on this one? Actually talking to Matt Harris, the coach of Agogi, he said he reached out to Andre. And Andre, being from Alabama originally, said he saw some potential in him and would be willing to help him out with his training, help him get on his feet there, and get him on the right path. Your thoughts on this one here, and the champ Torres Finney going pro now at 5-0, and I'm stoked to start the year off with that pro debut.
I know, dude. I don't know, man. We're Congratulations, Torres. You looked spectacular right there. Taking that the slam from the kicks. I know
Ooh.
when he came out there throwing the low kicks, and you hit that third one and scooped him up and slammed him, and the whole building went crazy right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Matt had extended an invitation to Dre, though. To come to go get a train, and that would be a huge addition. Even if it was just for cross training, the different looks he could give a lot of these guys, because he's already fought Zane, now he's fought Torres. I mean, he could come in there. He's got a ton of looks he could get in that room. If that's something that's seriously been discussed, and to get, you have, bigger, heavier guys in the gym like that rolling around with Torres and stuff. Uh, uh, Both of their games are going to shoot up. Dre, let's just give a shout out to him real quick, man. That guy spent time on a bus coming down here from New York, and he's done it twice now. He comes down here, and I want to take time out. I talked to him after the fight and just made sure that he was okay and everything was good, because that situation is scary. It don't matter, how tough you are, how big you are. When you cut off oxygen and flow of blood to somebody's head and their brain, it's very, very dangerous. And I stood up cage side when I thought it was over, raised my arms up, and I kind of stood there for a minute, like, and Jamie Lee was like, "Greg, you can't really cheer." Cage side, I was like, "I know, but he's out." Like, and that was when Tim was like, "Hey, he's out," and that was, it was scary, because when he came to and was kicking, we would like to see that they're okay, but scary, scary thing that happened right there. Glad he's okay. And when I talked to him, he didn't seem like his spirits were like down, but he did seem like he was disappointed in himself. And I asked him if he wanted to come back and make a reappearance here at Aries, and he was, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Why wouldn't I? I mean, so uh, can't wait to see him back, and also I can't wait to see Torres make that pro jump, because
Yes.
it's going to happen quick, and I don't know how many people are going to be lined up to fight him, but as an entry level pro right now, I believe Torres Feeney is going to be also at the top of the rankings in our Aries promotion professionally. That's saying a lot too. So we'll be betting on him too here soon.
Jeff Hobbs, your take on this one? Obviously, a lot of mixed emotions through this one here.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest emotion or mixed feelings about it is just that normally the procedure is that you only get to keep a belt if you defend it, but I'm not fucking going after that one. So I'm gonna just let him. we're just gonna let you hold on to that one, because I'm not coming to get it from you. And it looks good on you. It's your color. So so congratulations, man. Andre Johnson's a great guy, but it couldn't have gone to a better person, because every bit of it was earned, not given. And so congratulations on that. I feel like, as a promotion, you could have stuck around maybe a little longer as an amateur, but at this point, man, we would have to be bringing guys in from God knows where to find you, the right competition. So if you're going to travel, you might as well travel and get paid. But until those kind of fights come up, if we're going to bring somebody in, let's bring it in as a pro fight, man, and hopefully we get the pleasure of hosting that debut. There wouldn't be anything nicer than possibly, maybe even, as Tim and I were briefly talking today, the chance of maybe making that somewhere around Macon, Georgia. I don't know if you've been there ever before, Torres. I don't know. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. We're just brainstorming today. I mean,
I don't think y'all will understand, man, boy.
I don't know if you've ever been there or driven through there though, but I don't know. It'd be cool, man. Congratulations, and good job.
Thank you.
Justin, wrap us up on this one. You are the closest one to it besides the referee, I'd say.
Yeah, man, I was within arm's reach, I guess, of it. Breaking news: probably not a great idea to come out and throw naked leg kicks and start a fight against Torres if you want to go more than a minute or two. But yeah, man, when somebody like Torres latches on to a head and arm like that, you have to be ready to stop the fight. I mean, it's only going to take a few seconds, and you could see by the control of the position, he wasn't going anywhere. There was no getting out. So it was unfortunate that he had to go to sleep, but man, that was a nasty slam, and then put that boy to sleep.
All right. Up next, we were supposed to have David Lewis versus Andrew Havener. Both guys weighed in. Tough weight cut for David Lewis. Visually, you could see that at the weigh-in. But made the weight. Actually, he came in about 2 pounds under the weight. And at that point, started feeling ill. Went to the hospital for some issues and was unable to compete the next day. Unfortunate to say the least. Andrew Havener and Nice Guy handled it like champs. I spent about an hour and a half of my afternoon on fight day just trying to muster up what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. Like, just how am I going to do this? But they ended up taking it so well, and so props to them. It sucks real bad, but hopefully we were able to get Havener back in there. Jeff, quick take. I won't go around the horn here, but not the best 3 or 4 hours before the show in that regard. Just when you're having to shuffle around a fight that late in the game, there's so many moving parts between production, commentary, and everyone has to know. Of course, your betting lines have lock times, which means it makes the rest of the show have to kind of drag out to a certain time now when we would have been doing it 30 minutes before. Just a bit of a snowball effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And the most disappointing thing out of all the things you mentioned was the fact that of our 3 pro fights, this was probably the most exciting or the most anticipated as far as pick'em fight when it came to the odds. That most of us usually have a take on who we think could be the winner or loser of a fight. This one, I think it was coin flip. So the anticipation of finding out how this one turns out to lose it was disappointing, because this one I think was really going to be that tactical chess match. And again, it's unbelievable how well upon their reaction when you tell them. Usually the reaction is like, we're like this, like, please don't yell at me, don't hit me, and they're just like, man, I guess if his health's at risk, so we got to do what's best for him. And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, it sucks. Give me a second. Let me call some people that are on the way and make sure we save them the trip down. But we're still going to stay and we're going to have a good time. Can I at least get a hat? Well, fuck yeah, you can get a hat, So
I was wondering where he got that hat in the cage when he was talking to his fans. I was wondering, he got him a hat, man.
Yeah, he got him a hat because of how fucking cool he was about the whole situation. And again, not to toot our own horn, but talking to Tim, it took us about 2 seconds to agree. He just he got taken care of. He didn't get just taken care of with the show money. We gave him his win bonus as well, just to put that out there, because we want to take care of the fighters, and his opportunity to earn that win bonus was taken away. So we didn't feel in this situation this late in the game that it was fair to him to take that opportunity away from him, and we took care of him. And we're always going to try to take care of the fighters in this fashion. If the details of the situation are similar to this one, we'll take care of you too. So that's about all I have to say about this fight.
All right, co-main event. The much anticipated return of David Ruthless Robbins was a success, as he comes out here and gets a triangle victory over the always tough Corey Delaney. Opens the fight with a very nice push kick to the face that caught Delaney flush. And I have to imagine, just talking to Delaney before the fight, that they wanted to stand and bang, and they were confident that if David would stand with them, they had a good chance to win. They realized that on the ground they were likely to be outclassed, but as soon as he took that kick to the face, he went for the takedown, landed it nicely as he did against Weston Wilson. But at that point, David's so comfortable off his back, always going to be shooting for things, and transition from an armbar over to a triangle. And this is one of those where we had 2 guys go to sleep in a row. Delaney was throwing big overhand shots. It was like 1, 2, and then the third one was just limp, and that was it. There was no question he was out. David Robbins, a successful comeback, and moves to 7-0. We'll go around the horn here. Greg, your thoughts on this one? A lot of emotion in the air in this one. One of those walkouts that made the hair on your arm stand up a little bit.
Yeah, I was really, All right, guys. The most exciting part about the fight was after the fight when he took the mic to me when he told us he was 98 days sober, I believe it was, and just the amount of people he has like met, made friends with, called his family, and have died due to what they've been through in the last 2 years. Uh, I had a lot of that come back. It brought back a lot of memories with me and my past and stuff, and I just uh, I don't know how many people got all misty eyed in there at that point in time, but it was definitely it was a big stepping stone for David Robbins, and I'm really happy for him in that aspect. And I thought that was the bigger thing that stood out. I mean, I had him on the books too. I was betting on him, and when he won, I was happy for him, and I couldn't be happy for him. I hope he does get that chance. I hope he gets that opportunity to make that jump and do everything he's ever set out to do.
Justin, your take here. No scorecards needed.
No, man, David looked good. Like you said, that front kick caught Delaney, and he was definitely, uh, seeing stars. I think at that point, so he didn't have any choice but to try to stay alive, and went into a even more dangerous situation there. And David put him to sleep for it. So it was good to see him come back and get the win and get that monkey off his back. And looking forward to see what he has. What's next?
Jeff Hobbs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a goosebump type of moment to watch the return. Performance was classic David. It was funny talking to Corey after the fight at the hotel, and I mean, he was in great spirits. Probably, I mean, much better spirits than we had seen him all damn weekend, really. And he was just like, he wasn't supposed to kick me in the face, like. Well, yeah, that's what he said. He's like, I wasn't. We were supposed to throw down. Like, I was like, shit, man, we're that. You're not supposed to do that. We were going to stand. We were going to stand in the pocket and punch. But like Greg said, I mean, those are the ones with David here recently. The talks and the interviews. Those are hard to get through. They're emotional. You get choked up, and they're hard to get through because it's such a personal story. He even let more on in the cage in his interview than even I knew. Details about his journey that we didn't even know, that were just still astounding to hear the things that he went through. So, David is going to be one of those, you hate to see him go, but I hope he leaves. And I hope he's leaving because he's getting his chance at something else, because he's earned it. He's earned it.
Torres, your thoughts here. The easy matchmaker in me says Corey Delaney and Logan Neal potentially would be a good one here down the road. But your thoughts on this one here? Do you see David Robbins as a UFC talent here soon?
Yeah, man. He looked phenomenal in that matchup, man. I mean, just perfect. Great transition from the armbar to the triangle. Corey Delaney probably wasn't expecting that, but that was a really nice takedown from Corey initially on the start anyway. Yes, that was a really good performance by David. Big time respect from me to him. I'm excited to see him, sobered up, doing his thing now, getting his life on track. That's the great thing about it, man. And that's the great thing about this sport, man. So it can bring you back to the realization of why you do what you do. I think David has really come back and found that niche again. So now it's good to see him back on the scenes. No telling what he has in store for himself, man. I'm excited to see what he is able to do in the future, wherever that may go. Excited to see a lot more of David Robbins, man. So it's good to see some of those OGs back. I heard all the stories, David Robbins, obviously Greg, Charles. There's a lot of guys I hear about in the old regional circuit of these MMA days around these guys. It was great to see a guy like that from the OG days back on the circuit, man, back here performing.
Main event, talk about a roller coaster once again. The crowd was up, and then they were down at the very end as Dimitri Miller comes in from the ATL and knocks off Logan Neal with a 14-second TKO. Logan comes out, lands a nice body kick. The next exchange gets clipped, and it's very flashy from what I could tell. It was kind of one of those flash KOs, and but at the same time, it was what it was. His head was turned to me, so I couldn't exactly see, but from all reports, it looked like it was on the button there, and Dimitri Miller gets it done there and silences the crowd, sends him home sad. And a good win for Demetri Miller. I know Logan will be back. I think that cut to 145 really did take an effect on him. He did not look great at the weigh-ins, but he did make the weight. On the other hand, we did have some weight cut issues with Demetri Miller that we had to work through. But at the end of the day, it was Miller with his hand raised and moving to 2-1. Logan goes to 3-3 now, and will be, I'm sure, looking to bounce back. From all reports, he'll be moving back up to 155, where he'll feel better than depleting his body with that 145 cut. I'll start with you, Hobbs.
Yeah, I mean, initially there was, I'll admit there were some questions about the stoppage, but like you said, the panel we were sitting on, we were on the back side of the action, so all we saw was the drop. It felt early upon, first glance, but then, you notice some things that kind of justify why the stoppage was made. Usually we see people get questioned on a knockout, but you'll hear Rogan talk about it all the time. When they grab the referee and start trying to grapple the wrong person, that's usually an indication of kind of not really knowing what's going on or who's standing there. And then I watched a Spectation on their Facebook or Twitter page. I can't remember which one it was. Had the angle from the other side of it, which was a little more telling. The shot that knocked him to the ground, I don't think was it. It was one of the follow-ups, because he went down where his kind of face was laying on the mat while his, butt's up in the air and his arms down. And I think that was the split second that the referee made the decision to do it. But again, the thing about flashes it's a flash because you're awake immediately, and he woke right up and came up, grabbed the referee, and was able to stand up. And, I'm sure Logan felt he was still in it. Obviously, his crowd and a lot of people in the building thought he was still in it. It's a judgment call. That's all it is. It's a judgment call on the referee's part. And I see why he made the call. It's not for me to decide whether it was a good one or a bad one, but I see why he made the call. But like I said to Logan in the cage afterwards, if there's one thing we know about Logan, he's not going to let a speed bump slow him down. He's not going to just say, screw this sport, this sucks. I think I give Logan a lot of respect for his Facebook post after the fact, where he told his fans, if the situation had been turned around and I won like that, if I won in that fashion and his fans were complaining, you all would have cheered the win, and you would be defending me that it was legit. So he said, so I'm done talking about it, for the most part. Like, you all would have cheered if I would have won that way, and you would have defended the win if I would have won exactly the same way. It was huge, huge way for him to respond.
Yeah, very stand up, very true. Justin.
Yeah, man, there's not much else to say other than that. Demetri Miller came in ready to go, landed a big shot. It would have been nice to see the fight play out a little bit longer, but this kind of is what it is sometimes. I thought it was a fast stoppage for sure. I think that, especially you're talking about your pro main event, you got to give those guys a fighting chance. And I don't know. We saw amateurs that got way more of a chance, I feel like, earlier in the night than
True
that one.
story.
That was unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, like you said, a lot of respect for Logan for, taking it how it is and moving forward and not sitting there and harping on it for too long. And look forward to seeing Demetri Miller back, man. I mean, the guy's talented.
Torres.
Sorry. Yes. Yes. And into this fight, big time, man. Logan, it caught us all off guard. Standing there watching the fight, I seen him get dropped, and I wasn't thinking that Logan's out. I seen him still moving a little bit. But if you go back and watch it on the pay-per-view, you will see those like final 3-4 shots that land flush while his hand is there, well on his knees, his butt in the air, and I mean, you can see the reason why the referee stopped it. because you don't want to like and knowing Logan's that type of guy. I'd rather go out on my shield. I'd rather be for me to go out all the way knocked out. But I mean, it's for the safety of the fighter. But yeah, that was one of those fights, man. Like I do feel like it was stopped a little bit early, but it was the right call in a way. You know, I can see the referee's point of view. So I'm not totally against the ref in that regard. So we watched film all camp long. We watched film on Dimitri. We seen his his 7 second knockout in Georgia, coming from that same exact right hand.
Yeah.
He got 2 fights knockouts under 15 seconds where that comes from that same exact right hand. So that's his go-to punch, and it was really good. He landed it clean. So Dimitri's gonna be a force at the 145 weight division, man. Do not think this was a fluke win by him anyway. That's what he brings to the table. He has power in those hands at 145, and Logan is going to bounce back, man. I'm really excited for Logan. Logan's going to bounce back. We talk about it a lot. We was talking about it today. Logan was literally a round away, at least a takedown defense away from beating Charlie, and we could be talking about him 3-1 right now. So, I mean, just as fast as he is 3-3, just as fast he could be easily 4-1. So there's a lot of things Logan obviously can work on, but Logan is right there, man. He can back off some wins. Let's get the year started for him, but he's going to be back. I assure you, Logan will be back. So I'm excited for both of these fighters. But hey, Dimitri did what anybody would like to do: go in somebody's hometown and be the guy to come out yelling while everybody else is quiet going home. So Dimitri got the job done.
Greg Hopkins, wrap us up.
I got a few things on it. I think Dimitri Miller may be a force to reckon with the 145 if he can make the fucking weight. And just to be honest, I stayed there with him as he sat in the and granted, dude was sitting there roasting. He wasn't even sweating, and he had everything cut out. But if you sign a contract and you got 2 weeks to lose that weight, and you fought it multiple times before you signed that contract, Logan let him slide and said, "I still want to fight," and that's respectable for both guys, whatever. But if you sign a contract from now on at Aries and you're a professional fighter, you make the fucking weight. That includes me, myself, anybody that's pro. Secondly, I mean, with that being said, he came out there and it was a showstopper, is what Miller did. And if I'm looking at it from a fan's point of view, I wish they would have let it go on longer. I wish they would have, even as one of Logan's training partners. I've been with him. I wish they would have let it go on longer. Going and being one of Logan's best friends, the way I was watching it, I'm glad that Jimmy Neely stopped it, because one more shot, you never know what can happen. I wasn't there. I wasn't next to it. If that might have been the shot that caused some serious brain damage if he would have hit him the wrong way. Jimmy's there for a reason. He did his job. And Justin said it 1,000 times before: you either do your job right or you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? There's no glory in being a referee. With that being said, you stopped 2 fights somewhat a little early, and those were the 2 biggest ticket sellers on the card. I think before that happened, I think Jimmy had made some judgment calls throughout the night and I'm not knocking Jimmy, but I'm just saying at that point in time, everybody loves Logan Neal. Everybody loves Logan. Okay. And Jimmy knows that too. And at all costs, he was protecting Logan. And I think that at the end of the day, if you're going to let an amateur bout like Tristan and Anton, right, or Kanto, who was that right? If you let that fight go on like you did, and Tristan Kelly was on his feet bouncing off the cage, you have to let that happen with Logan Neal too. As much as I don't want to see that at all, I don't want to. You have to let it happen. With that being said, I'm glad he stopped it. I wish we could have seen more, but I'm glad he stopped it. And congratulations to Mitch Miller. If you can make the weight at 145, then we welcome you back. If you cannot make the weight, you step up to 155 and fight with the 155 guys.
All right, guys, that's our take. Aries 1's in the books. We can go ahead and wrap it up here and get ready for Aries 2. We appreciate you guys sitting in for the last hour with us. And we'll be back with another episode midweek as we get ready for our preview for Aries 2 this weekend from the world famous Cotton Eye Joe this Friday night, November the 5th. You can watch that pay-per-view on combatcast.tv. Get your tickets at fightertix.com. Big Ring Girl contest that night, too. It's going to be a lot of fun. For all of my co-hosts, Justin, Hobbs, Finney, Hopkins, I'm Tim Lloyd. We're signing off for another edition of The 0 Hour.
Peace.